Hello everyone, thanks for joining me again for another episode of Only PAX today. As always, what we want to do is start off by addressing the comments that you guys made on the last episode. And the first one that we're going to kick off with is from Jason, and he said that you'll need another episode of painting for the putting in the ballast in between the tracks. Now, as you can see, I've actually been around and done that in between episodes. So all of this new track, all the way now from Gorleston all the way up to Haslingden, has been done. And we've now got the ballast painted in between all of that, and there was a little bit just after up to the train depot as well that's been done. So thanks for that, Jason. You did give me the kick in the right direction, and I did that after your comment, so thanks for reminding me on that one. And then Tony says curved stations could be something worth using in the series. Now that is something that I already had installed, the mod, so I've made sure it's involved now. So we've got curved stations here. As you can see, this enables us to, if we have a town that's situated on a bend in our track, maybe somewhere like Seaham, if we wanted the station this side, we can adjust the curvature scale here, obviously how many tracks we want, whether it has a building or whatnot. We could put this down on the coast, and you can see now how that track is starting to curve around, and if we were to put that to all the way out to 4, you can see it'll allow us to have the station on a bend. And somehow that can really allow you to do some special things, and even it just allows you to fit in around the town without demolishing things on the way through. That being said, I do tend to like just steamrolling through the middle of the town just for the connectivity. But that is enabled now, Tony, and I'm sure we'll be able to utilise that at some point, maybe even in this episode actually. So we'll see where that comes into play. Now the next comment even is from Mr. Blackie. And he says that although buzz lanes at the minute aren't a massive thing for us, just because the map isn't too big yet, they will become really relevant moving forward, which I don't doubt at all. For those of you that watch the Only Tram series will notice that they've started getting used there, and they do make a massive difference to traffic. But the other part of his comment said that he would recommend us having counterclockwise and clockwise routes for the buses in town. So that's something that we're going to get into. I'm going to do that one right now, actually. So we'll go through the towns and add those in. So I want to look at the minute which way round this one goes. So it stops at Victoria Street first, goes to School Lane, so it looks like it goes anti-clockwise. So what we need to do here is add a new line, and we'll start off down here at the station this time, but on the way up I want to stop on the right side of the road, which will be Victoria Street this time. So we won't actually stop there, will we? Yeah, we will. We'll stop there, we'll go round to Victoria Road. It looks like we do actually need to add in, though, the bus stops there. It looks like I didn't put them on both sides when we first put them in. So we'll just shoot around here, and everywhere we currently have a stop, we'll put one across the road, because we don't want the route to change, we just want it going in both directions. So coming round here at Victoria Street then, and that's why we put the one in at Church Road there, wasn't it? Okay. So now if we go to this new line, so we want Victoria Street now is number 2. We've picked the train station at the start here. Good job, we picked that up early doors. Get rid of the train route there. So we want to go from Gorleston up to Victoria Street, and then after Victoria Street, we want to go to Victoria Road, York Road, School Lane, and then we want to come back through Church Road on the way back. Now that's now that lane, so that is going to be RP. And this is going to be Gorleston bus, but this one is going to be clockwise. So what I would need to do now is go through and change the other Gorleston bus to counterclockwise. Just so we make some sense. And then the vehicles on this line, I want to halve them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want to pick 4 of these vehicles, and I want to shift them over to the clockwise route. And then we'll keep an eye in between episodes and just check whether that distributes the passengers a bit more evenly, because you can see at the minute we've got 17 people waiting down here and a few people waiting around. Now in Strood here, I believe we only have the one way round still. We do only have the one route. And which bus stops did we use here? They were the same flags, so perfect. We'll put those in. Again, just the opposite sides of the road from where we did on the way there. This will enable us to make sure that we're getting, we're picking up passengers in both routes. Because what you tend to find is the last stop in the route, so Windsor Road here, if people, say at Church Road here and then at Mill Lane and Park Road all want to come to the station, which is the general idea, there'll be no seats left in the bus by the time it gets to Windsor Road. So this just enables people to get on there, and then it works in opposite, if you like. So here we've got 6 vehicles, so we want 3 of these to go on to a new line, which I haven't made yet. So we want to go from Strood transfer to Windsor Road, to Park Road, to Mill Lane, to Church Road, and then we want to name that RP. And this is Strood, and we've just put in a clockwise route. So the original Strood bus needs to be counterclockwise, and then I've called that, for a start we've called it Stroof, and then I've forgotten to put the word bus into it, so there we go. So that's those 2 in now. And then I believe actually up at Amersham to start with, we did put both routes in, didn't we? We did, yeah. And you can actually see that the passenger numbers are actually being managed in Amersham here. Bridlington, we used the tram system. But again, there's no reason why we can't put an opposite line in here. So at the minute, if we have a look at this line, which way round is this going? So it's going from 1 to 2 to 3, 4, 5. So that's going counterclockwise. So we'll call this Bridlington bus counterclockwise. And then we'll get rid of the hashtag that I've just put in by mistake at the end there. There we go. So that's now correct. And then I want to add a new line here, which goes from Bridlington North. It's only going through the waypoint that way. So I'm hoping if I click Kings Road here, it takes it the right way. It has taken it the right way there, but we need the stops on the other side of the road again. And we use the normal little bus stops here. Okay, so we need 1 here. 1 at South Street there. And then we want to come around this way through Park Avenue to Church Lane at the bottom. And then finally Broadway. And then from Broadway we'll go all the way back up. I think that works out right. So that new line that we were just setting up. So we've come from Bridlington to Kings Road. And then from Kings Road we want to go to South Street. And then we want to come to Park Avenue, Church Lane, Broadway, and then from Broadway we just want to head back down. Okay, so it looked like something may have crossed over there. I'm not sure why this is going the long way around here, but it is. But as soon as we tell it that it's a tram line, it will use the tram route, so that's not an issue. But as soon as we put trams on it even, I'm hoping it will use the tram route then. But actually, just to make sure, I'm going to put a waypoint there because I don't want it to be causing any errors. So after number 3 at South Street, we want to go through that waypoint, and then we're now going on the same roads that the original route's going through. It does cross over there, but that's not too much of a deal. Maybe we could swap the platforms around on this side. Let's just see if we actually swap those 2 terminals around. Does that get away from the cross this side? On the right hand side they'll be coming this way, so on the way back now they don't have to cross over. On the way back the pink one does. 6 of one and half a dozen of the other really, isn't it? But I suppose that works just as well. There's no reason why not to do that other than the fact that these are switching around here actually. So we do want them the other way. Ignore me, I'm talking absolute rubbish. There we go. That now works, and they do cross over the once here and there, but at the minute there's not that many vehicles on the line. If we ever need to, we can come back and readdress that. But I don't think that's going to be an issue. So this is going to be a tram, and it is the Bridlington bus, and this will be the clockwise route. So then what I need to do is on the Bridlington bus route, now, what we need to do is manage those vehicles and halve those and put half on the counterclockwise route. So now we should have those trams going round in both directions. Amersham we already had covered, and then into Shirebrook. How are we looking in Shirebrook? We do only have the 1 route, and I'm tempted to, while we do this, to now just add another stop in at the top end up here as well. These vehicles coping, so we've got 9 passengers here. They do look like they're coping actually, and at the minute we are covering the majority of it. It's only, oh actually no, I thought we weren't covering a building. No, that's our depot. So we are actually covering everything, so we don't need to add a completely separate thing in. We may need bus stops before I start making this line. Let's have a look. So we use the Midland bus stops here by the look of it. So now we need 1, in all the same areas but in the opposite direction. Is it just those two and then the depot? It looks like it is. Okay, so the new line then we want to come from the station and we want to go counterclockwise. So we want to head this way out, around and down, and then all the way back in again. That's perfect. So from here we want to go RP for road passenger. And this is, what town are we in here? Shirebrook. Shirebrook, and it's the bus, and we've just done the clockwise route. Okay, so then the normal Shirebrook bus needs to go to counterclockwise. And then on that counterclockwise route, we need to put some of the vehicles. So we've got 4. So again, we'll just halve it. We'll put half of those onto the clockwise route. There we go. So now we have vehicles on that route as well. And then Faversham, same thing here. What have we got in Faversham? So it looks like the route that's already in Faversham is the counterclockwise route. It's currently going round to the left there. So we'll name that one counterclockwise. We'll check which bus stops are being used. I think in future now we are just going to have to put the bus stops down each time. So again, across the road in each of these locations. I'll quickly put these in. I think we've got one more town to do. And then we can get on to the next comment from the last video. We're going to get into naming some trains. So we want a new line from Park Avenue, which is just a bus stop, so needs another stop. We'll change that to number 2 across the road. There we go. And then so we want to go from here. We want to add a station, which is going to be London Road. We want to go through the waypoint to Green Lane. Ah, the waypoint's on the wrong side of the road there, isn't it? So we do want to add another waypoint there then. At the end of the road. Okay. On line 2. From after London Road, you want to go through that waypoint. That's it. To Green Lane. And then after Green Lane, we want to add in South Street. And then we head back round again. Perfect. Okay, so this one is RP. And I keep forgetting the names of the town as I'm doing this, because we're going through all of them. So it's Faversham bus, and that one was the clockwise route. And then we want to get the Faversham bus. Okay, so manage vehicle. So what we'll do is we'll move one of these over to the Faversham clockwise. And then on the Faversham clockwise route, we will just clone that to make sure that there is 2 vehicles on the route. There we go. And then now you can see the passengers are really building up. We've got 26 at that stop, 35 there, 63 in the middle of the town. How many buses do we have on this route? We only have 3. Right, okay. And this is, again, a counterclockwise route. So we want to go Haslington bus, counterclockwise. We may need to just put another 3 completely on the other route. I think that's what I'm going to do here. And then we want a new line then in Haslington, which goes, again, I'm forgetting the bus stops if we don't have them, which we don't. We have the little country stops here, I believe. Yes, we do. So we want these more little rustic looking country sheds. We'll head along here. Then we want to stop at Church Road on that side of the road. Victoria Road up here. That one didn't place. There we go. And then we want to head all the way back to the town. Perfect. I just want to check that Church Road stop went in. It did. Okay, and we'll use this line that we have 3 here still. So we want to come from Park Road. We do need another stop here as well. I keep forgetting because these haven't got an actual bus station. We may have to change this because of how many people are wanting to come through this station actually. So we want to come from Terminal 2 there, which is just the other side of the road, to Chester Road, to the Green, to Church Road, to Victoria Road, and back. And then we want to change that colour because they both look too similar. There we go. And then that one then is going to be RP, and it's going to be Haslington bus, and we've just put in again the clockwise route. Now for that, I just want to buy, it's the post buses that we're using, I want to buy 3 of those and put them on that route, just because the sheer amount of numbers on this route. Yeah, there's a lot of people wanting to travel, isn't there? let's have a look. So we've got both trains are stationed here, so we're running at 50 passengers and 50 passengers. Wow, it's not going to be long before we get an upgrade on these trains, is it? It looks like we're up to 4 million, and it looks like the perfect amount to pay off the loan, which works for us. So, that's the first comment addressed, really, isn't it? That is Mr. Blackie's comment. So now we now have clockwise and counterclockwise in each town, at least at this side, connected up the main line. We haven't over here yet, but we're doing something a little bit different, so we'll leave that one for now. Or Leatherhead we've actually missed, haven't we? How many people are we getting down here? 56. So again, it's something that we could be implementing down here. I'll tell you what, let's do it, because it's only right that we do the same everywhere. Now this one is running counterclockwise. So we want to go here, and we want to go to counterclockwise. And then we want a new line coming in, which we're going to have to put some more stops in here. So we've got a big stop here at the station, but I've paid all the money back in the loan, so we're going to have to borrow some again. We come out of debt and straight back in. It's not really ideal, is it? But that is unfortunately the way we do it. And then which bus stops were we using here? I think this one's got lost in the tree. It has. It's the little metal sign that says bus stop, this one. So we'll put one here, one on Green Lane here, and it looks like Richmond Road's the next one here. And then finally, York Road. Okay, so we need to add that new line. Starting off at the Crescent, at the train station here, to Grove Road, to Green Lane, to Richmond Road, to York Road. There we go. And that one is going to be RP. And then we want, it's Leatherhead, and we've just put in the clockwise route again. It seems like I naturally must just favour the counterclockwise and I'm designing, because it was almost every town there was the only one. There we go. It looks like Amersham I've put bus at the other end for some reason. I did those separately another day. Now we've got 3 vehicles on here. So I think what I'm going to do, actually the first thing I want to do is I just saw a new vehicle that we unlocked. So because this is sort of our thing up in the hills, I want to use this Alpenwagen here. I can see these have come through. They were former military trucks and no longer needed building, but if I put this guy down, you'll see what I mean and why I want to use this. And then we want to clone one, so we've got 4 total. And I want 2 of those onto the new line that we've just made, which is the Leatherhead counterclockwise was the one I've just put in. There we go. And I want to have a quick look at these. I'm hoping these are as cool as they look in the little picture. Yeah. That's cool, isn't it? I do like that. It's got a little luggage trunk. But for some reason, this reminds me of a kind of Swiss Alps tour bus kind of thing. And that's why I wanted to have these on this route. But that's really cool. One thing I noticed is the loading speed of this is 4 times, which everything so far is only 1 time. I can only imagine because the sheer amount of doors on it, it'd take, 10 seconds to get into that, wouldn't it? Everyone's got their own door almost. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Looks like we've got a section for a spare wheel on the side here as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Right, perfect. So that's that comment. The first one, done, dusted. Mr. Blackie, I hope you're happy with that, but taking on your advice and we're done with that. And we're already at the 18-minute mark almost of this video, so we need to really get moving here. The next one was from Ratsy, and he makes a really good point. He says, during his playthroughs, he never really has a reason to start naming his trains, but we do. And it'd be a really good idea to have them named, and you know what? I agree. We had a little bit of a joke when it first started with everybody from the thumbnail and from the first video thinking it looked a bit like Thomas the Tank. So, and from them we've named a few of the others, so we're going to name this train Thomas. And we're going to go through our vehicles and select all of the trains. We're going to pick up the red one here, which we know of course the red one in Thomas the Tank is called James. What else do we need to pick up? We've got the yellow one. Now, the yellow one, I did have to Google this. There's 2 that are twins in the cartoon that are called Bill and Ben, and I thought, well, we've only got one. But then there is one other sole yellow train on its own, and it's called Molly. So because we only have the one train at the minute on this line, we're going to call this one Molly. And then, obviously then we've got the main, what is the main line now really, Gore to Shirebrook. We've got these 2 green guys, and the 2 green ones, we all know the famous one is Percy. And then we also have Henry. So there we go. Every train that we currently have running now has a name. They're all Thomas the Tank references. That will die out as we leave the Steam era. It's just a bit of fun to start with. It gives us a purpose for all the different trains, and it's just something fun to have on. Let me know if you can think of any cool names or any other names from the series or any other famous trains in general you'd like naming, and we'll have a look at it. There we go, there's James Luke steaming along. He's probably not far off due an upgrade now either. But thanks for that, Ratsy. Good point, mate. Well presented. We needed to have a look at that. And then the other one is from, and this is more of a way we do things, and this is from Bob the Bomb. Now, he said for the main line, the best and most efficient way he's found is to have if I show you with this, a 4-track station like this. And what we would have is we'd have the main line running all the way up, and every other station would have the 4 platforms like this. The 2 outside tracks, if I just place this just to show you, it went on the 4-track main line. The 2 centre tracks would always be the local services, and these would stop at every single station. So they would stop, at Haslingden, Faversham, Shirebrook, Gorleston, Bridlington, Amersham, all the way up the line. They would stop at each one. But then these outside tracks, so going up on the left here and coming back on the right, would be the express trains, and they would fly through every other station. So they would only stop. So say we started at Haslingden, they would fly straight through Faversham without stopping, but then they would stop at the platform at Shirebrook, and then they would fly through Gorleston, and they would stop at Bridlington, and then they would have to go and stop at Amersham because that would be the end of the line. But then, as I said, the local services would stop at everyone, and that just stops them holding each other up. The only place they would cross is obviously when we got to the very end, we would either go into the platform on this end and have to come back out to this side, or we would come at high speed. What I'm thinking is when we would do the crossover into the platform, and we could slowly pull out. And that would be the only time that the express lines crossed over the slower lines, and at no point ever would the slow trains overcross the express lines. And I think that's a really good point, mate, and I think that is what we'll do. Now, the last thing I wanted to do in this episode, and really the main thing I wanted to get done in this episode, was to start off some train transport in this area. And what I think I'm going to do, because we already have Rochdale connected to the shipping route here, I think what I want to do is create the Rochdale to Shepton section, and just so we can get people from Shepton joined up to the rest of it. And I did have a quick look, and I'm wondering where to go. Now, this line will eventually carry on to Dunwich, so we need to have the section of 4 that we were talking about, okay? And 240, because it's going to be sort of mainline system, we do want to look at using 240 metres. We're going to want the 4 tracks, and I was looking at where to put it, but you can see the terrain here is pretty bad, and I always try and keep them away from the residential, which for this town is down at this bottom front side here, where we've got the commercial over here. Ideally, I want it at this side of town, but we're looking at coming out maybe through a very small tunnel this side, and I think the best way to do it would be to stick this in somewhere here, which obviously means getting rid of some bits that are here. So I just want to check, while we're using this waypoint here, I wanted to double check why we're using that waypoint. Because if I was, while we're paused, to delete this waypoint, it sends the bus this way, which means that it could go that way. So if I was to go to upgrade this to a medium street, and we upgrade through the town here, oh, we've got a little bit of a freeze here. If I upgrade through the town there, and then I put the waypoint sort of here, or what I will do actually, what bus stops are we using in this town? We're using these standard ones. So if I was to put, instead of a waypoint, if I was to use a bus stop here, I would hope that I can manage this line, and after number 2, we could stop at Chester Road. And then what I'm thinking is putting the train station through here. While this is paused, I want to delete these roads. That's 800,000. Wow. Luckily, we are in a good place with money at the minute. And what I want to do is see if we can get this 4-track station in here and connected on. And we can use that bus stop that I've just placed down. If we can get this in here, it's going to cost us 567 grand. But we're going to need money for these expansions anyway. We can get this in and connected to the road there. That works for me. And then I was hoping that on this other end now, we can get another second street connection. Now this, unfortunately, like this type of this type of station doesn't allow us to do that. I was hoping we could have a second street connection there, but what we will have to do is connect this road up or across somehow. So I think we'll run the tracks out first. We're only going to have the local line at the minute, so I'm interested in getting this guy out as flat as we can. I'm not bothered about going at 20. We'll go with the ball head, as that's what we've been using everywhere. We want to come out nice and straight from the station. We've got parallel tracks on. I did not mean to have that turned on, so for now, I'll just turn off parallel tracks while we get this guy installed, and then we'll pull this back. Okay, there we go. And then we'll go with parallel tracks again. We'll turn that on now. And then we want to head around, and I just want to try and have a look. We want to be nice and flat here to keep the speed up. Yeah, that looks like it's working pretty well. Now, it is putting catenary on here. 1920. Do I mind catenary? You know what? For this side of the track, I think we'll let it slide this time. And then we want to go for another station here. So Shepton Mallet. So the main line will actually skip and stop here. We've got the industrial side this side. So we want the station this end of town. Somewhere down near the coast so we can keep the train running along. So I think even if we can just stick it on the end of this road, it'll work quite nicely for us. Or if we make the most of the fact that we can now use the curve station mod and we have a very slow curve around that bend. Even if we knock that up to 2. There we go, that points us back out in the right kind of direction. Or do we want to put this with it? See, I'm thinking now how we're going to do it, and I think what we need to do is think a little bit about how we're going to get the passengers here. And I think if we go for a passenger station here, maybe even directly on the end of the road here, we can attach this on with enough room so that we could increase the size of that road without affecting it. I think that'll work quite well, and then if we can attach a station straight in, which we can, that sort of kills 2 birds with 1 stone, as the saying goes, doesn't it? Because we've got a good connection to passenger bus links, but we've also at the same time got a station in with a little bit of a curve that we want. So if we were to hook that straight up, what would it do to us? So that road crossing there isn't actually an issue, is it? Now, I've just realised I've selected the left-hand side and we've got double parallel tracks on. So what we want to do is that we want to go for the gate that we've been using, because I think to be, pretty uniform across the map's going to serve us well on that. Now, it, of course, hasn't given us the parallel track because we've crossed the road. I did forget about that. If you're in the vicinity, if you're trying to cross a road, it won't actually lay that parallel track. Well, there you go. We'll get this in. We're going to need some more cash, though, unfortunately. This is costing a little bit more than I thought it was going to, I have to say, but it's not an issue for the minute. So if we're going to be travelling on the left, we want to head at full speed into the station, and then we want the cross as we're leaving, as we're going nice and slow, just building up speed. We will put a cross in just to future-proof it. We don't need to be able to cross both directions at the moment. But down here, we will fly into the left-hand side, and then on the way out, we'll hit that cross. There we go. So that's the cross setup. And then we are going to need a nice depot. I think for the minute, before we start doing any big lines or any massive additions to it and putting in an express line, I think for now, train depot, maybe just out in this little valley here, works for me. I do like the look of that. It's almost, I'm not sure if you guys can make it out, but it's right sandwiched at the bottom of a little valley here. I think that's as good a place as any. We are going to want some signals, so we're going to be travelling on the left-hand side of the track. We'll auto signal. We'll go for one way, and we want them at 500 metres. There we go, so that's set that up for us. And then the same this side, we'll just go opposite where they were. Again, it's placed those. Perfect. And for the minute, I think we're only going to have 1 train on each. We've already got the bus set up this side, but we will need to set up a bus route on the other side. Now we've got to decide where we go with this. At the moment, it's a very small little local route. We've got the Midland Spinner, 75 mile an hour. Seems like it might be a little bit overkill for over here, but I think we're at that era now where they're all going to be there or thereabouts. Great Western Railway moguls. There's this from the American name for the real meal arrangement. Ah, so that's where mogul comes from. Designated for passengers and freight. 60 miles per hour. I think we're going to go for that. I think 60 is fine for this line for the minute. And then we go passengers. We want something that'll do 60. So here we go, the generic British. Do we go for the brown ones for this? We tend to, I think we do, we tend to go for the green ones quite often, don't we? So we'll go for the brown standard first class here. We'll go third class, 24, and then we'll stick a rear brake on that. Is that a rear brake? It's a brake. It doesn't say anything. It doesn't say whether it's a rear or front, that one. So we'll need some more money again. And then we need to set up that line, don't we? So we want to go from Rochdale. We might have to check the terminals here, and that's just up to Shepton Mallet. Small, quick route. Not a problem. Looks like the game's frozen a second here. There we go. I have set my graphics to high now, and I have noticed that whenever I'm adding something to the game, it is starting to not like it, so I may have to turn those down again. I think because my computer's also recording at the same time. It's not liking that, I don't think. So here we want TP for train passenger, and this is the Rochdale to, and again, memory like a sieve, Shepton. Rochdale to Shepton. I mean, we can fit the name on Shepton Mallet, so why not? We may have to shorten that at a later date. But that should now let that train out. Let's have a quick look and see how that looks. Great Western Railway. Oh! That actually looks a lot nicer than the little miniature picture of it. We've got two drivers. Some coal in the back. Cool sounding whistle on it anyway. 4,300 is the ID number. Great Western Rail. Yeah, nice logo. I like how it's, even though it's nice and shiny and new, it's not overly flashy. There's not, there's not loads of chrome and shiny bits on it, which I think's a nice contrast to what we normally end up buying for ourselves. Right, okay, so now we need some bus stops, don't we? In the town here. Buildings, bus stops, all around the town. I think we go for these, the rural stops again. We go for the half-timbered. So we need to put two routes in. We need to be mindful of that. So just before the main junction here, we'll put one each side. And then we'll split it for this side of the road. This side of the town, sorry. Over to that side of the town. And then I think I'm going to put a cross... am I going to put a crossroad in here? To come back down? No. We can't. So we go around that section. On the way back this way, we want to go here. Right, yeah. So what we're going to have to do is put two there. And two there. And then I actually need to delete these two that I put in at the start. I was thinking that was going to be the way to go, but unfortunately, because of the layout of the town, what I want to do now is add a medium street in here. What I'm actually going to do is delete that one that's already there. And I'm going to upgrade that, and then I'm going to connect across here like so. Just so that we can now go all the way around the town. So I want to put in two routes. One, I want to go counterclockwise around and back in. And that is going to be RP, and it is Shepton bus counterclockwise. And I want another line that goes from Shepton Mallet round in this direction. And that is going to be RP. And that one's going to be Shepton bus clockwise. Don't worry, I'll get the hang of this one day. And then what I need to do is, obviously we're going to need a road depot around here. So we'll find where Luke's Industrial over this side and try and keep it out of the way. We don't want it near the residential area if we can help it. Just not something you would see, is it? So then, passenger-wise, what else have we got? We've got these Schneiders. It looks like that's something that's pretty new as well, actually. Schneiders are available from 1921, so they are... Oh, and then we've also just got another brand new one as we're in the menu, which is handy. The Daimler. Nice, so that's German, I believe, the Daimler. And the Schneider probably is, but Dan, originally a French military transporter, the Schneider. Sounds very German, actually, Schneider. What have we got the difference here? I think we can go for these 9 ones, I think. They're both diesel, the power's the same. The capacity's only different, but I think we'll go for the Schneider PB2s. And I think we'll go for 4 in total, and I think we'll have 2 on each of these lines. So we'll have 2 on the counterclockwise, 2 on the clockwise. Now let's have a look at what these guys look like. We haven't seen these yet. Oh, that's cool, isn't it? It's even got the little standing area at the back, which I can guarantee back in the times of this was probably the smoking deck out at the back. We've got the line name on the back. Nice little, what looks to be almost, are they wooden spoked wheels? They look like it. The driver's sitting above the engine by the look of it, but he's very warm. It looks like he's got a very comfortable seat. That's cool, isn't it? Oh, the little sets of four, is it? Front and back, yes. The seats in the middle there, facing backwards as well. That's really cool. It's the first time I've seen that on this playthrough, I think. But yeah, nice. That's cool. So that will now allow people. You can see we've already got people waiting at Shepton here, actually. That's going to allow people to ultimately get all the way around to Rochdale. And then a final thing that we're going to need to do is to fix the Rochdale bus. So we've got both of these as well. So the Rochdale bus currently is going from 1 to 2 to 3, so that is counterclockwise. So we also need to go in and put in those stops across the road. I can't remember if I was halfway through doing this or not earlier, actually. Now I'm here, I'm thinking, I swear have I already done this? But maybe not. We'll go here. I think it was, I'm getting confused because we put this stop in for the train station earlier. But we'll just go around. Yeah, I definitely didn't put these in, did I? Go around the bottom one at St. John's Road and then it's all the way back down. Okay. So that will enable me now to get a new line from Rochdale. We want to head out in this direction. So we want to go to St. John's Road, to Broadway, to New Street, to the train station at Chester Road, to North Street, and then back round. And that is going to be RP Rochdale. And we've now got, that's going to be a Rochdale bus, isn't it? And we've now just put in the clockwise route. So what we need now is to see what kind of vehicles we've got. Now this is going to increase because we've just added a train station. So will the 4 vehicles be... It looks like we've already got people waiting. You know what? I'm going to clone those 3. This could be a mistake. Although then the new 3, I'm going to put on that new clockwise line. It also looks like we're starting to get people using these ships. What have we got here? 38 and 3. How many's on the ship going down? 53 out of 85. And we've got 68 people waiting on here. This is the most people we've ever had waiting for the ships, actually. So this tram must be picking up more. We've got 4 people waiting, 4 in. So we are managing that. These bus routes don't look like they're under too much strain over here. The train station, 173 people waiting to head to Gorleston. I think it's time in the next episode that we really start to look at upgrading this main line. I think the next port of call I wanted was to start and add in the next station. But I think at the moment we're going to have to expand what we've got and maybe get that main line in for this first section before expanding, because we've got 33 people waiting here. Where's the nearest train? There is a train on the way that's already carrying 50. That train's carrying 50. Yeah, we definitely need more trains, but maybe even just that main line. Because the main line now would start down at Haslington. It would skip Faversham and go straight to Shirebrook. I think we need to add in the next station at Bredlington, and that'll be this main line done this side. But then we could go from Haslington to Shirebrook, and we could be leapfrogging then, and the main line idea would actually work. And then we'll have a local line that already comes down from Amersham, which it does, but also one that comes Stopfold, Colne down. So that would be a local branch line. Amersham would be a branch line. The main line would just run this coast, but then all the way up to Haslington. And then this side we want to carry on this line, go from Rochdale to Dunwich. And I think we'll run all the way down here with then these lines sort of branching in. Or maybe even a line from... Let's see, what would we do here? Maybe Gillingham, Bradford and Avon, down to Seaham maybe. Or Howden to Dunwich. Gillingham, Howden, Dunwich. And then you're onto the main line, and then this side go Bradford and Avon. We could probably even have some kind of hillside route coming down to Newbiggin by the sea, or a route coming up this, skirting up the edge of the map to Bradford here. But that again, that's a local line, isn't it? Something like that. I think. We'll look at that, and we'll get into that in the next episode. But anyway, that is where we're going to end it for today's episode, guys. We have already run out of time. We've overrun a little bit, but hopefully you guys agree we've got some value out of that one. We've put in some new, some new lines, some new infrastructure. We've updated a bit of what was existing. Hopefully in the next episode we start seeing all this new stuff come to life. You can see here, look, there's people already waiting at all of these bus stops. There's still only 1 or 2, but we do only need 32 to fill this. I'm hopeful that that will become profitable, by the end of the next episode at least. And it looks like money's piling in here to start paying back this loan. I mean, if we just have a quick look, I'll wait for this one and repay that. If we have a quick look at the balances, the finance, so this new line here is currently losing money, which we would expect. Other than that, we're not losing more than 10 grand, and we're actually making 1.3 million on that goal line. But yeah, we'll address that in the next issue, and we'll look at further expansion. Then hopefully I'll come back to you with the rest of that loan paid off, and it looks like we'll be expanding that main line in the next episode. So as always, guys, thanks for joining me for this one. Drop me your comments down below with all your ideas and suggestions. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't. It does still tell me that 75% of you guys watching aren't subscribed, and we are almost at that 1,000 subscriber mark, so please do hit it. Helps me out massively. We've got over the hurdle now of the 4,000 watch hours. That's all done and dusted. You guys have been smashing the videos and really getting involved and enjoying them and watching them in their entirety. And how long a video's watched for massively affects the YouTube algorithm. And that's what's getting the videos out there, because you guys are watching them. So thanks a lot for that. I'm so glad you're all enjoying it. But I will catch you in the next video, guys. And thanks again for watching.
I guess